Hello, this is Guava Moment and welcome to the results for Week 8 of the SpaceChem tournament, the final week before the 16-man single elimination tournament. So let's start with synthetic galarium. There are about 3 main different strategies people took for this level. I'll show off the first one, which is the same as the one I took. This is going to be by Nethris. He realized that you have to take hydrogen and fuse it, well, 115 times. Why not just take blue and park it against a wall? So it's always fusing. That way, all red has to do is count up alphas repeatedly. So in Nethris' case, he counts up alphas by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that 4 times and you get calcium. Then do that 19 times to get americium. So it's hope you're good with flip-flops for this challenge. That's going to be the main trick. Trying to figure out how to keep your cycle count down while actually beating the challenge. That's why I thought this one was pretty cool. It's actually kind of easy to beat, but to get low symbols is quite difficult. So you see what he had to do is bond it together, drop it here, and then find the one place where it doesn't get outputted, where the calcium here by itself won't get outputted, and that was over here. So this is Nethris, did 36 symbols. Kinda slow. But there you go, 36 symbols for the, I call this the blue fuse method. But as you saw in that solution, there were a lot of flip-flops, a lot of kinks and corners. So let's see this strategy, but a little bit better. So this is Serbeldrig's solution. Instead of doing it by 5, his does it by doing once at the beginning, 18 here, as this does 6 3 times, once more on the way back. So that makes the calcium. Now this solution for once at the beginning, go by 18 a bunch, and then 1 at the end will actually output uranium. So he needs an extra 3 in there, which is what this alpha is for. It does it once, twice, and once more on the way out. So that makes up with the 95. So this was the fastest blue fuse method, as I call it, or lowest symbol blue fuse method, I call it, for 30 symbols. I had one that was 31, but this for Serbeldrig was the second place solution and the fastest blue fuse method. This is the solution by Mirror, and I call this the delay grab strategy. Have red move the first atom over to prime it, and then blue just continually bounces back and forth, alphaing and fusing constantly. What red needs to do is waste a whole lot of time until it finds the correct atom and grab it within the tiny window it has available. In this case, actually, here's how small this window is. Grabs the americium on the first possible time it can, and there's like 3 cycles there to get the next hydrogen out of the way before blue inputs the next one. Fortunately, the calcium takes a little bit less time. Grab it at the perfect time and output it. So this is once again I call this the delay grab method. Whoops. And the problem with this one is it's very slow. Very slow. Okay, so over 4,000 cycles and 40 symbols. So Candle K9 has the same strategy, but instead of having one wall to prime it, the one that does the fusing and inputting also does the priming. And then blue is going on a little joyride as it constantly moves around to find the precise window to grab an element. Oh, and eventually it's going to get there. Here we go. And output right away. This ended up as the 3rd place solution. It's the same symbols as Serbeldrig's, but the delay grab method, much slower. Really slow. Anytime now. Okay. So let's try a completely different method than that. Java Jesus has what I call the 5 times method. So let's just look at blue. It grabs this and goes through this thing here. You might recognize this structure as a 5 count flip-flop. So it'll fuse 5 times, then hit the sink. So now we look at red. It hits 1 sink here, once on the way down, once up, hits this here. That's 4 sinks, 4 times 5, that's 20. So now we need to hit 19 sinks, which is 5, 5, 5, and the 4 again. So 19 sinks times 5, 95, americium. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. But rather than counting alphas or having one Waldo just wander around the whole time, use sinks as a counter. So this one is also very, very slow because inputs aren't coming in very quickly. It has to go through the whole flip-flop thing first. These methods, or this one by, was it Java Jesus? Over 10,000 cycles. Anytime now. Okay, over 10,000 cycles. So here's Amro doing functionally the same thing. A sink and then 5 inputs and fuses. But having it this way makes it go a lot faster. So now blue is going around counting up sinks. 4 to make the calcium, 19 to make the americium. But because this is going by and inputting so quickly, this is a much faster solution. It gets to 32 symbols. But prepare your brain, we're watching a pseudo-dude submission. Now there were a couple of different strategies that I didn't show from people because they were just, I don't know, they didn't seem to fall into the same categories the other ones did. And pseudo-dude, he's in a category all by himself, the living outside of the box solution. So let's have red come around and eventually grab a calcium here. Okay, so it's grabbed a calcium because blue's going around alphaing and or inputting and fusing and all that. So let's see what else red grabs. A nitrogen. Okay. And then it comes around and then a cobalt. Sure. And another cobalt. Okay, sure, why not? Let's make another cobalt. And then a nitrogen, okay? Everyone's following along so far? Because I sure am. I totally understand what he's doing. Magic. And he's done. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I think he even sent me a program he wrote that did something that didn't help because I couldn't understand it, because I don't know what color the sky is in this guy's world. He just does weird things. Like, what is... how? I don't know. I don't know, but you know what? This isn't even his best solution. He has one even crazier. Oh my god, 25 symbols! This one. It's a slow one, however. It's kind of a combination of both blue and red are doing delay grabs. So blue goes around and takes forever to input a new one and start fusing. Red's gonna come around eventually and start grabbing and binding, or grabbing and bonding and dropping, and it just takes a while. We're gonna be here a minute. In fact, we're gonna be here 2 minutes. This one takes 2 minutes to go to completion because it's like 39,000 cycles. So you just have to take my word for that as a... or maybe I'll just do a quick sneaky edit. And we're finally done. Thank you for that 2-minute long solution, pseudo-dude. You're the best. Which brings us to the Soul of Iron. In some ways it's kind of the opposite of the previous challenge. Synthetic Illyrium was a lot of fun to play, but very easy to beat, difficult to master. This one is just kind of a slog all the way through, and I kind of made a mistake making this one the double points challenge. This one just wasn't as fun as Synthetic Illyrium. However, Myth 3 is a better game, and the music's better. Well, at least I like bagpipes. This was my solution, and it was terrible because I think a lot of you was having more fun playing with Synthetic Illyrium, and did that. My strategy was have blue come in, create aluminum, oxygen, aluminum sticks, and red come in and finish off with the oxygens and make the chromium. And then a whole bunch of nonsense, bond it together, rotate and such to get the bonds out and output it. This was not a good way. This is over 1,000 cycles, and there are a little bit better ways to do this. Well, there are actually a lot better ways. So let's see those. Oh, here, I'll show you. I wanted to show this solution by Krakor because it's a little bit weird. Let's see what it's doing here. So it's fusing oxygen to make the chromium first, then it comes on through. makes germanium, huh? What? Rather than debonding the oxygen, Krakor fuses it into this ball. Then he makes this. Makes the blue and red wallows do a 3-count loop to make the ALO parts here, and then ends up with cadmium, which splits into chromium, so he makes the chromium there, and then resets it. He's using a catalyst! I'd never seen this in a solution where it wasn't required. That's really ingenious. It's not a fast solution, but that was really cool. Using the catalyst like that. I never thought you would actually find a real application for that in a challenge. Okay, so it's slower than mine, but let's try a different method that's a whole lot better. Mr. Blarney did an interesting thing, that I changed the output to highlight this. The Heartstone of Nyx, which is really just a ruby crystal, you can rearrange it a little bit by squishing it like this. I don't know exactly how many people made squish crystals, but Mr. Blarney was the only one to mention that he did. What he did is have red and blue just make aluminum oxide sticks and bind those together. The reason he did that was right here. When he's at the final assembly, all of the bonds he needs to make are horizontal. So he just needed to do that to create his ruby crystal or heartstone. I had never considered that you could remake the crystal in a completely different way. I don't think it ends up being faster. We'll see a little bit better method next time, or in the next solution. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's a weird thing, though. This, however, is straight up a bug. This, topologically, is not the same as the Heartstone Ruby Crystal. However, the game does accept it as an output. This is straight up a bug. I don't think anyone abused it. There's a level in ResearchNet called Swapite, which has the same bug. In that case, it made the input exactly the same as the output when it shouldn't have been. But yeah, that was just a weird bug. This is Jabor's solution. Have one Waldo come in. A red will make ALO sticks, and that's it. Blue will make oxygen and catalyst as necessary. And do it layer by layer, and do it sideways and extend it out. So flip-flop counters, so when you know when to do chromium or oxygen sensors to do that, and just move it over and output it. So I'm pretty sure this is the best way to assemble this thing. And this is why I wanted to show this one. Look at how beautifully even these numbers are. Ah, it's like a breath of fresh air. So not content with making the catalyst solution, this is Krakor's best solution, which uses the Jabor's method of making the crystal and extending it outwards. The only time that the atoms, or that the Waldos are not moving, is when he has to do the chromium. Right here, blue stops moving, while red has to go in and sneak this oxygen through. That's the only time that a Waldo is not moving and helping to construct this molecule. So as such, this ends up being very, very fast. But Serbeldrig finds a way to not even need sinks at all and not have any Waldos not moving. By having red come in, fuse a sulfur and drop that there, then blue will come in, fuse it into chromium right there. So while blue is making its aluminum oxide sticks, it naturally makes the aluminum chromide aluminum stick. And then red comes in and finishes off with the oxygens and outputs it. So no sinks, no intentional delays anywhere, everything's just really quickly assembling and extruding the crystal. This ended up as the #1 solution, so congratulations Serbeldrig. So we are now into the final standings. Not counting the 3 people who emailed me saying they have real-life obligations and can't continue, the top 16 are Cannibal K9, Wild M, Jabor, Amro, Mr. Blarney, Java Jesus, Added Space, The Knife, Pseudo Dude, Nethris, Mirror, Serbeldrig, Lardnar, Orthogonalis, Janderbilt, and Lesh Nyhan. So congratulations to the top 16. I'll hope you're going to still be around for the rest of the tournament as we move on to the single elimination rounds. Good luck, everyone.